Style and tone. Number 1. The author wants to use understatement as a rhetorical style. Which choice best accomplishes this goal? You took my brand new car without asking, drove it 800 miles, and scraped the entire front bumper? Yeah, you could say I'm extremely upset. So understatement is when your reaction is smaller than appropriate, such as, see. Yeah, you could say I'm a little annoyed. Number 2, the author wants to use overstatement in order to emphasize the speaker's exhaustion. Which choice best accomplishes this goal? So the opposite here, overstatement rather than understatement. I've been working on legal briefs all day. I'm so exhausted I could sleep for hours. Now, that's pretty accurate. A person sleeping for hours. Saying, I don't think I can sleep right now, would be more than an overstatement. That would be a lie. And I won't be able to sleep for hours is the opposite of the truth here, since we are so exhausted. D is the best choice. Could sleep for years. Number 3. Which choice best expresses enthusiasm consistent with the tone of a formal engagement announcement? Mr. and Mrs. Joel Anderson of Sunnyvale are pleased to announce the engagement of their daughter, Stephanie, to Guillermo Torres, son of blah blah blah. The underlined phrase being, are pleased to announce. Well, D we can rule out. That's clearly informal language, being totally stoked to announce. R announcing would just be ordinary rather than formal announcing. The correct answer is A, no change. Number 4. In order to emphasize the contrast between a sunrise and the author's attitude, the latter wants to use two adjectives that are derived from the same root word. Which choice best accomplishes this goal? Sunrises are, I admit, generally very majestic, but usually, if I have my way, anything that occurs before 8 a.m. is wasted on me. When the sun begins his incredible ascent, I prefer to be an inglorious huddle of sheets, crusted with sleep, and willfully blind. We can rule out C and D right away. The adjectives glorious and ragged, stunning and pitiful do not have the same root word. And for choice A, we noticed incredible and inglorious. They share that word part, in, but the root word for B was glorious versus inglorious. That's the correct answer. Number 5. The writer wants to use exaggeration in order to emphasize the relative insignificance of a mistake. Which choice best accomplishes this goal? My friend Joseph, we are told, has committed the oversight of forgetting to bring his homework to class. This demonstrates a multitude of failings, personal and academic, which will forever bar him from the ranks of human society. B was the correct answer. We are emphasizing the relative insignificance by exaggerating. This is not a grave crime. This is a relatively small crime. It might be an inconvenient error, or a mistake, or an oversight. Grave crime is the only one that exaggerates. Number 6. For the sake of rhetorical flourish, the author wants to use the same word as two different parts of speech. Which choice best accomplishes this goal? She did not hate many things, although she disliked the very act of hating things. C we can rule out right away, as there is no repetition of the same word. The word was hate, so we're looking at she did not hate the very act of hating things. She did not hate, although she hated, she did not hate except for hate itself. The correct answer is D. The reason being, hate here is used as a verb, and hate here is used as a noun. Two different parts of speech. 7. The author wants to use irony in order to communicate disapproval of the bad weather. Which choice best accomplishes this goal? According to the weather station, we should expect rain, hail, and an assortment of small pets to descend from the sky later this afternoon. Well, isn't that just a lovely forecast? In fact, this doesn't sound like a lovely forecast at all. That is an excellent example of irony. The opposite of what you would expect. Number 8. For the sake of rhetorical effect, the writer wants to maintain the pattern of repeating words derived from the same root. Which choice best accomplishes this goal? Attain the unattainable, conquer the unconquerable, clasp the unreachable. So for catching the pattern, attain unattainable, Conquer, unconquerable. So clasp, unclaspable. It would be. However, that's not one of our choices. So grasp and reach don't match. Reach and grasped do not match. But reach and unreachable do. D is the best choice. Number 9. Which choice best maintains the intent and pattern of the sentence? You must be brave without foolhardiness, strong without violence, decisive with arrogance. Well, we notice without, and with. That's why A is wrong. And we can similarly rule out C, so we're down to B or D. B is correct, as the setup matches the pattern of the previous examples. Number 10. Which choice most effectively maintains the stylistic pattern established earlier in the paragraph? We shall wander the cobbled streets of Paris under the glittery moon. We shall swim the length of the Nile with the hippos and the crocodiles. At sunrise we shall scale Mount Fuji and pretend we are alone in the world. The pattern is, we shall do something, and then a prepositional phrase. We shall do something with a prepositional phrase. And in choice A we have a prepositional phrase, then we shall do something. Notice C is the only one that begins with we shall. That's the correct stylistic pattern. 11. Elephant DNA, when extracted from illegal tusks, can help biologists track which elephant populations are being targeted by poachers. The correct answer is A. This matches the formal and precise tone of a scientific paper. Not sitting ducks, which is a colloquialism. Not exaggeration, pitiful, helpless victims. And not informal language, being picked on by. 12. Which choice best maintains paragraph's straightforward, informative tone? Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead, is a Mexican holiday celebrated on November 1st that honors the dead with festivals and lively celebrations. This colorful holiday helps people be happy about death by building private altars and visiting graves with favorite food and drinks of the deceased. Calaveras, brightly colored candles shaped like human skulls, are popular treats during this holiday. As described earlier in the paragraph, the holiday is what honors the dead. So here we say the holiday is what celebrates. B. The most straightforward way. 13. Sea otters are marine mammals that rely on their fur for insulation in cold ocean water. Now protected by endangered species laws, they were totally scarce around the turn of the 20th century. So the formal tone is matched with choice B. 14. In order to capture the attention of his audience, the author wants to invest the pie with human qualities. Which choice best accomplishes this goal? The blackberry pie was exquisite. The flavors danced on Lila's tongue. So we want to give the pie human-like qualities, not necessarily Lila, or not just generic descriptions of its taste. A was the correct answer, as this is the only one where the pie does something that a human would do, like dancing. 15. Which choice most effectively maintains the stylistic pattern established earlier in the sentence? According to the World Heritage Site, there are 3 things everyone must do when they visit the city of Prague in the Czech Republic. Walk along the Charles Bridge, see a production at the State Opera House. Eating goulash is also an imperative. Now the irony there is that, I guess the trick there is that these previous sentences are imperatives. Walk along the bridge, see a production. Eat goulash would fit. That's why C is correct. 16. The author wants to use words that imitate the sound of air. Which choice best accomplishes this goal? As Bailey punctured the basketball, the air swiftly whooshed out of it. Well, whoosh is an onomatopoeia. That's a sound that air would make. That's why A is correct. 17. In order to achieve irony, the author wants to juxtapose 2 words that are typically contradictory. Which choice best accomplishes this goal? I woke up before my alarm, made a roast beef sandwich for lunch, arrived at the bus stop with minutes to spare, and cruised into my office on the 7th floor. That's when I realized that I had forgotten my briefcase along with my crucial notes for my 9 a.m. presentation. Well, this was just completely awful. D is the best choice, as perfect and terrible are contradictory. Notice completely is not necessarily the opposite of awful, and wonderful is not the opposite of news, and unfortunate is not the opposite of circumstance. These are the only pair that are contradictory. 18. In the sentence, the author wants to capture a sense of boredom by repeating the initial consonants. Which choice best accomplishes this goal? Malcolm liked to count things. To him, the height of excitement was buying a fresh box of pencils, sharpening them, and promptly adding them to his massive collection of writing implements. He reveled in careful consideration of all things. The smaller, the better. B, we see the repetition of the M sound, monotony, minutiae. The matter of fact, methodical.